you had the opportunity to hang out with Marcelo Woloski for a whole day.
I did. Marcelo is just a really humble guy and amazing musician. So it was just a privilege to be able to meet him that day.
And you played around in the Snarky Puppy percussion rig, and you get to talk to him about life and stuff.
Yes. So a couple of questions about music, and with a full tour of his beautiful rig just before a sound check. So let's check that out now. Marcelo, thank you so much for letting us come here. We're at Circus in Stockholm.
Yes.
Snarky Puppy is playing tonight. You just played Oslo yesterday?
Yes, yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the second gig of like tour that is
Endless.
endless,
No.
never ending tour.
Yeah, it was. No, it's been 7 months. Well, it's been 6. This is the last month.
Yeah,
And a half.
exactly.
I mean, we have 3 percussionists on the roster, on the the team. So we rotate, and I have done like 2 months or so, and I'm doing this month. This is
It's a custom-made magic wand.
Yeah, custom made.
Yeah. Nice.
That's cool. Very good.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's a nice sound. I knew them. Basically, I had. I was playing with this band called Banda Magda in New York, and we needed a bass player to sub for our bass player.
Yeah.
And I think it was Keita that actually told Magda to call Mike as a sub. He just moved to New York at that moment. And so we called him, and we had a couple of gigs with him. It was really cool. And then we started, like he needed percussionists for his shows, and then he started calling me.
Yeah.
Whenever Nate couldn't make it.
Yeah. Exactly.
So and then from then on we started playing more and more.
Cool.
And yeah, that was the first. Ground Up was the first album that we recorded together
In Brooklyn, right?
in Brooklyn.
Yeah. Cool.
So I have this, check seats. Bells. What else? It's a mini timbal. I put a couple of bells on it. Then drum. Repinica. Bells. Bottle. This one they gave me in a jazz festival, and I wanted to use it.
Sounds good.
Then some stacks. This is my favorite crash cymbal.
It's one of those
Very
like
thin.
unknown brands.
Yeah,
That-
exactly. I think it's necessary nowadays. Because it's the world is it's just it's everything's more globalized, and like in general you cannot just play one thing nowadays. To survive as a musician, I think it's important to be able to play different things. I mean, in the past there were bands that were like salsa bands, let's say, that would play 7 days a week, and that's it. And maybe there is still that, but it's not so. I think it's not so common these days. I think it's important to be able to do different things. But also for me, I do it because I'm very curious about different cultures, and I really like to learn. So it's not. It was never about like. To survive I need to learn Latin music, like I don't know, Arabic music, whatever. But mostly about curiosity.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's important, I think.
Yeah.
You also get, a lot of, like, you learn so much from different cultures. Like I think you play better one style because you learn a different style.
Yeah, I agree.
This now you cannot hear, but we put a microphone and it sounds huge. It's like a bass drum. It's actually my replacement for a bombo legüero, which is a bass drum from Argentina.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
either one. Yeah, I was super scared. I mean, I was mostly it was hard for me to like, how a lot of the like, for example, if a bassist or let's say I don't know, a guitarist does a solo album, that it's a guitarist solo album because he's doing the melodies. He's doing the solos, like it's his album. And for percussion, it's hard to make it in that way that it's gonna be obvious that it's your percussion album. For me, it was mostly about showcasing the songs, the compositions. It was not about me soloing and sharing, because it's not what I love the most is. It's just songs, music, and the solo. If it serves the music, then it's great. So at the beginning, I was like, I don't know, how am I gonna, is it gonna be like a singer, like if the singer sings a song. At the beginning, it was gonna be like one singer singing all the songs. It was gonna be kind of weird because people would think that the singer composes music and it's her album. Like it's all these questions I had in my mind, and then slowly I was like, okay, well, whatever, I'm just gonna do it, and I'll just compose the song. I mean, I'll just record the songs, and then I figure out how to present it or whatever. And it was a good process. Afterwards I I decided to put a couple of percussion tracks in the middle to connect some songs.
Partida or
Partida.
Yeah, exactly.
And Agua and one more, Maracatu. And you know, like also to give some different you know, like textures and dynamics to the album. And it helped a lot to also produce it. We produced it with Magda, Janiku from Banda Magda, and you know, like we kind of developed a thing, and I, you know, it was a good process. It took a while for me. Also, I also decided to sing some of the songs, you know, which was like a challenge too because I never sang. But you know, I wanted to do it, so it was good. It was good to be in a outside of my comfort zone, you know, because I'm always like a sideman and like following instructions basically and like going with the flow. And this was like, okay, let's do this and let's do this and let's.
Yeah.
So I would like to do that more.
Yeah, cool.
It
I mean,
cool
it
process.
turned out great.
Thank you.
It's a great album, for sure.
It's cozy setup.
Yeah, cozy and it always gets bigger and bigger.
Of course, of course. Of course. And you also, so you had like the custom shaker thing on this one as well.
this just to give like that.
Yeah.
These are kind of my replacement for the tashiras from Morocco.
Yeah.
You know, like. And then I use some brooms sometimes. You know, then some other stuff like from Colombia. These are like crickets. I used to know. Japanese toy. Then I have this. It's also like it's supposed to be emulate like a cheetah sound, you know, or jaguar. I don't know. The pandeiro, you saw. I have a chichi, bells. Thunder. The keys.
Of course.
Marcelo Woloski on percussion from Argentina.
Yeah. Thanks so much for
My
taking the
pleasure.
time.
Thank you.
And hope you get to see some of Stockholm before you leave.